At the will reading, my brother claimed he was getting everything. So I smiled, pulled out a folder, and revealed the updated will Dad signed with me last month, leaving him nothing. Before I share what happened next, do me one favor. Subscribe and tell me the city or country you're watching from. I love knowing where our stories reach. My phone buzzed at 2 in the morning. Dad's lawyer, Mr. Henderson. Arya, your father passed an hour ago. I'm so sorry. The words hit like ice water. I sat up in bed, my husband Henry stirring beside me. What? No, I just saw him yesterday. He was fine. We were laughing about. My voice cracked. Mr. Henderson's tone shifted, became formal. There's something else. Your brother Damon already called me. 3 times. Asking about the will reading. I felt my stomach drop. Dad had been in hospice for 2 weeks and Damon hadn't visited once. Not once. But somehow he knew Dad died within the hour. The reading is scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. Arya, your father left specific instructions for me. Instructions about Damon. I gripped the phone tighter. What kind of instructions? Come to my office tomorrow. Alone. There's a separate envelope he left for you. After we hung up, I stared at the ceiling. Henry wrapped his arm around me. Baby, what's wrong? Everything felt wrong. My brother's vulture-like timing. The lawyer's cryptic warning. The way Dad had asked me to visit alone last month, insisting we go to Henderson's office instead of the hospice. That day, Dad's hands trembled as he signed papers. Arya, baby girl, you're the only one who stayed. The only one who cared. Now he was gone and somehow I knew the real nightmare was just beginning. I couldn't sleep. Memories flooded back. Damon at 16 screaming at Dad because the car he got for his birthday was silver instead of black. You trying to embarrass me? All my boys got new whips and you get me this trash. Dad had worked double shifts for 6 months to afford that Honda. I remembered watching from the stairs, seeing Dad's shoulders slump. Mom touched his arm. Baby, maybe we can trade it in. Trade it in? Patricia, I'm not made of money. But they did. They always did for Damon. When I graduated high school with honors, we had dinner at Red Lobster. When Damon barely graduated 2 years later, Dad threw a party that cost $3,000. He needs encouragement, Mom always said. You're naturally motivated, Arya. Your brother needs support. That support included bailing him out of jail twice, paying off credit card debt, and giving him $20,000 to start a business that never materialized. Mom died 4 years ago, pancreatic cancer. Damon showed up to the funeral high, stumbling through his eulogy. Dad cried harder watching that than he did at the burial. After Mom passed, I became Dad's caretaker. Doctor appointments, medication schedules, grocery shopping, cleaning his house every Sunday. Damon called maybe once a month, always asking for money. I pulled up to Henderson's office at 9 a.m., a full hour early. My hands shook as I parallel parked. Inside, the receptionist, an older black woman named Dorothy, gave me a knowing look. He's expecting you, honey. Go on back. Mr. Henderson stood when I entered, genuine sympathy in his eyes. He'd known our family 20 years. Arya, sit down. I need to show you something before Friday. He pulled out a thick folder. Your father came to see me 5 weeks ago. Damon had called him that morning demanding $50,000 for a real estate investment. When your father refused, Damon said, and I quote, "Fine. Die broke and alone then. See if I care." Rage burned in my chest. Henderson continued, "Your father was devastated. He called me immediately. We scheduled an appointment and he brought you along a week later." I remembered that day clearly now. Dad had been quiet during the drive, his jaw clenched. "That's when he revised everything," Henderson said, sliding papers across his desk. "The original will split everything 50-50 between you and Damon. The house, the life insurance, his savings, his pension. Roughly $400,000 total. My breath caught. Roughly. The new will leaves Damon exactly $1. Everything else goes to you. I stared at the papers, my father's shaky signature at the bottom. Why $1? Why not just cut him out completely? Henderson leaned back in his chair. Legal strategy. It proves your father didn't forget about Damon. He actively chose to disinherit him. Makes it much harder to contest. My mind reeled. $400,000. The house where I grew up. Everything. Does Damon know? No. And that's why your father wanted you here today. He anticipated Damon would make a scene at the reading. Probably claim you manipulated him, forced him to change the will, maybe even suggest elder abuse. My stomach turned. Dad knew Damon would do that? Arya, your father loved Damon. But he wasn't blind. He recorded a video for the reading. Said he wanted everyone to hear the truth from his own mouth. Henderson pulled out a USB drive. He also documented everything. Every loan to Damon, every broken promise, every cruel word. He started keeping records after your mother died. Tears burned my eyes. Can I watch the video? Not yet. He wanted it played at the reading with everyone present, including your Aunt Gloria and Damon's kids. I hadn't even thought about Damon's children. My niece Tiana, 16, and nephew Malik, 14. Sweet kids stuck with a terrible father. The funeral was Wednesday. I arranged everything. The service, the flowers, the repast at Dad's favorite restaurant, Mercy's Soul Food. The bill came to $4,000, which I paid from my savings. Damon showed up in a designer tracksuit, smelling like expensive cologne and weed. He hugged me loosely. What's up, sis? This is tough, right? Tough? I'd spent the last 2 weeks sleeping in a hospice chair, holding Dad's hand through the night terrors, changing his bedsheets when he was too weak to move. Where were you? I wanted to scream. Instead I said, yeah. It's tough. At the repast, Damon held court at the largest table, laughing loud with his friends, a plate piled high with food he barely touched. Aunt Gloria, Mom's sister, sat beside me. That boy ain't changed a bit, she whispered. Patricia spoiled him rotten and your father couldn't say no. Dad said no plenty of times, I corrected. Damon just didn't listen. Gloria squeezed my hand. Your daddy was proud of you, baby. You know that, right? Always bragging about his daughter the nurse, his daughter with the good husband, his daughter who actually gave a damn. Across the room, Damon's baby mama, Shanice, caught my eye. She looked exhausted, her uniform from Target still on. She'd come straight from work. Friday morning arrived cold and gray. I wore my mother's pearls and a black dress she'd bought me for my college graduation. Henry offered to come, but I refused. I need to do this alone. The conference room at Henderson's office felt too small. Damon arrived 20 minutes late with Shanice and their kids. Aunt Gloria sat beside me, her church hat perfectly positioned. Damon sprawled in his chair, legs wide, confidence radiating off him like heat. Let's get this over with. I got moves to make. Henderson's expression remained neutral. Thank you all for coming. Before we begin the formal reading, James left a video message he wanted everyone to see. He dimmed the lights and pressed play. Dad's face filled the screen, thinner than I remembered, but his eyes were clear and sharp. If you're watching this, I'm gone. And I got some things to say. Damon shifted in his seat, his smile fading slightly. Dad continued, I tried my best with both my children. Arya, baby girl, you made it easy. You were kind, responsible, and you loved me without condition. Damon. Dad's voice cracked. Son, I failed you. I gave you everything you wanted and nothing you needed. I enabled your selfishness, your cruelty, your entitlement. Dad's voice grew stronger on the recording. I kept receipts. Every loan. Every bail payment. Every time you promised to pay me back and didn't. $73,000 over 12 years, Damon. Not counting the car, the lawyer fees when you got that DUI, or the rent I paid when you got evicted. On screen, Dad held up a thick binder. It's all here. Documented. Time-stamped. Witnessed. I ain't losing my mind, and nobody forced me to do nothing. Damon's face had gone ashen. Tiana and Malik stared at their father with wide eyes. The worst part, Dad continued, wasn't the money. Money I can forgive. It was how you treated your sister. The jealousy. The snide comments. The way you told people she was stuck up because she went to college. The way you tried to turn me against her. My throat tightened. I'd never told Dad about most of Damon's comments. Somehow he'd known anyway. When Patricia died, Arya stepped up. She became my daughter and my caretaker. She took me to chemo appointments. She held me when I cried. She reorganized her whole life around my sickness. Dad paused, wiping his eyes. You showed up high to your mama's funeral, Damon. You couldn't even pretend to be sober for one day. For her. The room was silent except for Dad's voice. Last month you called me. You needed $50,000. I said no, son. I told you I didn't have it, which was true. My medical bills are drowning me. You know what you said. Dad's face hardened with pain. Fine. Die broke and alone then. See if I care. Those were your exact words. To your dying father. Shanice gasped. Tiana started crying quietly. Malik's hands were clenched into fists on the table. That's when I knew, Dad continued. I knew I had to protect Arya from you. Because when I'm gone, you'll try to take everything she's earned. You'll claim it's your birthright. You'll manipulate those babies of yours, turn them against their aunt. So I'm stopping it now. The screen went black. Henderson turned the lights back on. Damon exploded. This is bullshit. He was sick, confused. She got in his head, probably drugged him. Sit down, Henderson commanded, his voice sharp. I have 3 witnesses who can testify to your father's mental competency, including 2 doctors and a psychiatrist who evaluated him specifically for this purpose. If you contest this will, you will lose and you'll look like a fool doing it. Damon turned to me, his face twisted with rage. You snake, Damon hissed at me. You turned him against me. Playing nurse, acting all devoted, just so you could steal my inheritance. I met his eyes, calm settling over me like armor. Your inheritance? The money Dad earned while you were getting high? The house he maintained while you were in jail? That inheritance. I'm his son. His only son. You really think you deserve more than me? I think, I said quietly, I deserve what I earned. I was there, Damon. Every single day. Where were you? He slammed his hand on the table. I had things going on. I got responsibilities. You have children, I interrupted, gesturing to Tiana and Malik. When's the last time you took them to the doctor? Help with homework. Showed up to a parent-teacher conference. Shanice spoke up, her voice shaking. He doesn't. I do everything. He just, shut up, Shanice, Damon snapped. Nobody asked you. Don't talk to her like that, Aunt Gloria said sharply. Boy, you better remember where you are and who you're speaking to. Henderson cleared his throat. Mr. Patterson, let me make this crystal clear. Your father's will is airtight. You're getting $1. The house, the life insurance policy, the savings accounts, the pension, it all goes to Arya. There's nothing you can do. Damon's eyes were wild now. You all are in on this. The lawyer probably paid off. That video probably edited. This whole thing is a setup. I'd had enough. I reached into my bag and pulled out the folder Dad had given me that day at Henderson's office. You want proof? Here. I spread the contents across the table. Bank statements showing withdrawals labeled loan to Damon. Text message screenshots of him asking for money, promising to pay it back, then asking for more. Police reports from his arrests. Photos of Dad at my house for Christmas while Damon was too busy to show up. Dad gave me copies of everything, I said. He knew you'd try this. I pulled out one more document, a handwritten letter dated 3 days before Dad died. This is from Dad, written in his own hand. Do you want me to read it out loud? Damon's face crumbled. For a moment I saw fear flicker across his features. Mr. Henderson, I continued, please read the terms of the will. Henderson adjusted his glasses. James Patterson leaves to his son Damon Xavier Patterson the sum of $1, to be paid within 30 days. To his daughter Aria Marie Patterson Williams, he leaves his house at 1247 Oakwood Drive, his 2019 Toyota Camry, all savings and checking accounts, his life insurance policy valued at $200,000 and his pension. Damon stood abruptly, his chair scraping loud against the floor. This ain't over. I'll fight this. I'll take you to court. With what money? I asked. You're broke, Damon. You've always been broke because you spend everything on looking rich instead of being stable. I got people. I got lawyers. You got nobody, Aunt Gloria said flatly. Everybody in this family is tired of your mess. You think people don't talk? We all know about the drugs, the gambling, the way you treat Shanice and these babies. Tiana suddenly spoke, her voice thick with tears. Dad, is it true? Everything Grandpa said. Damon turned to his daughter, something like panic in his eyes. Baby girl, no. Your grandpa was sick. He didn't understand. Stop lying. Malik shouted, standing up. You're always lying. We heard the video. Grandpa was clear. He knew exactly what he was doing. Malik, you called him and told him to die alone. The 16-year-old's voice broke. What kind of person says that to their dying father? Shanice gathered her children, her face hard. Come on. We're leaving. Shanice, wait. Damon reached for her. She jerked away. Don't. I'm done. We're done. The kids deserve better than watching you destroy yourself and everyone around you. As Shanice ushered the kids toward the door, Tiana stopped and turned to me. Aunt Aria? Can we still see you? Even though Dad? She trailed off, fresh tears streaming down her face. My heart broke. Baby, of course. Always. You're my family. This isn't about you. After they left, the room felt cavernous. Damon stood alone, deflated, his designer clothes suddenly looking like a costume. You happy now? He asked me, his voice hollow. Watching me lose everything? You lost yourself long before this, I said. And you didn't lose everything. You lost money. You still have your kids if you decide to be a father. You still have your life if you choose to change it. How am I supposed to change with nothing? The same way everyone else does, Aunt Gloria interjected. With work. Real work. Not schemes or shortcuts or other people's money. Henderson began packing up papers. Mr. Patterson, I'll have a check for $1 ready next week. You can pick it up from the front desk. Damon laughed bitterly. $1. That's what I'm worth to my own father. $1 fucking dollar. That dollar, I said softly, represents exactly how much effort you put into your relationship with him. Dad would have given you everything if you'd just shown up. If you just cared. I did care. No, you didn't. And deep down you know it. 2 months later I stood in Dad's house, my house now, boxing up his belongings. Henry was painting the guest room. We'd decided to move in, use the space for the family we were planning. The doorbell rang. I opened it to find Tiana and Malik Shanice standing behind them on the sidewalk. "Hey sweethearts. Come in." Tiana handed me a folder. "We found this in Dad's old stuff. It's letters Grandpa wrote him over the years. We thought you should have them." I flipped through pages of Dad's handwriting, each letter pleading with Damon to be better, to try harder, to come home. The last one, dated 2 years ago, said simply, "Son, I love you. But I can't save you anymore. Save yourself." My eyes burned. Malik spoke up. "Dad moved to Atlanta. He said he's starting over. How do you feel about that?" I asked carefully. "Relieved," Tiana admitted. "Is that bad?" "No, baby. That's honest." Shanice stepped inside. "I got a promotion at work. Got us into a better apartment. The kids are doing better in school now without all the chaos." "I'm proud of you," I told her. "All of you." As they left, Aunt Gloria's words echoed in my mind. "Your daddy freed you. Not just from Damon's chaos, but from the guilt of choosing yourself." That night I sat in Dad's favorite chair, his letters in my lap. The house felt peaceful. Outside Henry was grilling. Inside I was finally, truly home. Dad had given me more than money or property. He'd given me permission to protect my peace, to choose myself, to refuse to be destroyed by someone else's choices. And that inheritance? That was priceless.